Good morning, folks. It is about 10:30 a.m. It is currently May 18th, Sunday, 2014. And we're going to start with an update to the Mobile Observatory project. We have a brand new page for it. My wife, Kat, has been kind enough to set this up. You could click Mobile Observatory on our website, or just go to observatoryproject.com. This is going to be the new page for the Mobile Observatory. It's going to be separate from suspiciousobservers.org, although you can always just click that and go right back. Have I started the screen share? Oh, I haven't even started the screen share yet, have I? No, I apologize, everybody. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. Sorry, I don't want to do that again. All right, so here we are. And this is the new page for the Mobile Observatory project. I'll just repeat what I just did there. You could click there to go to suspiciousobservers.org, or click Mobile Observatory Project, comes right back here. So the sites will still be linked, but this is going to be completely separate now from suspiciousobservers.org. My wife has now taken over this, and I think she's done a pretty good job starting out. We are starting to confirm our dates. Some kind of new news here. We have added a first date, June 14th, in Dayton, Ohio, at the Boonshoff Museum of Discovery. Essentially, the Miami Valley Astronomical Society is putting on a pretty nice little show, and they've invited us to come down. I'm actually going to be giving a little speech there. But this will going to be the absolute first stop on the tour. And if you come down, you can see where we're trying to go here. We have it set pretty much through April of 2015. All the gray dates are still tentative. I imagine they will slowly be confirmed as we go along. I'm likely to have delays. There's likely to be stuff that happens that pushes it back. We may move stuff forward. And so we're going to try to stay about a month, maybe 2 months ahead of time. Right now we have two dates confirmed, June 14th in Dayton, Ohio, and June 23rd in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at Squaw Valley Park, my town where I grew up. My current hometown of Columbus, Ohio, I am still working on getting a public park or somewhere else to let me come and have a few hours or a half day or maybe even a whole day in Columbus. I've been looking at some parks up in Westerville for anybody who lives here in Columbus, although, I mean, Hilliard, Bexley, Dublin, New Albany, Pickerington, anywhere will work around Columbus. And if you have any ideas, go ahead and shoot us over an email. This right here, this is my wife's email for the Observatory Project. It's Kat with a K, K-A-T, at observatoryproject.com. Of course, you can always email me as well, which is just your place, Kat with Ben, B-E-N, at observatoryproject.com. But we absolutely are, oh, and by the way, we do have suggestions here for where we should go in these cities. And we're really, really looking for that. If you live in one of these cities or close by, you know, even the cities themselves aren't set in stone. And for areas where we are, you know, traveling a good distance, like here, November 26th, Charleston, South Carolina, all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, December 2nd, we'll obviously be stopping at least one place on the Georgia coastline in between there. It just probably won't be an official stop. But if you live somewhere in one of these cities, or if you live in between, you look like you're probably going to be on our route, and you think that you'd like to be part of the tour, you'd like to help us, you know, find a spot to meet, you know, have all the observers that are in the area come and gather. We'd really love help with that. The only thing I would say don't do yet is if you find some venue and they want to have some kind of small charge for it. First, a lot of places are, I'm hoping, are going to just let us come, you know, for free. You know, based on the educational nature of what we're doing, or they may be willing to do it in order for, you know, in return for some promotion, like, hey, we're going to be here, you know, everybody come check this out. I feel like it would be a pretty good proposition for anybody that we asked to host us along the way. But the one thing I wouldn't want you to do is throw down any money to reserve any place. I'm very aware that we're going to have to, you know, spend some money to reserve some places along the way, but definitely don't want you doing that without having talked to my wife or I so we can confirm this. make sure 2 or 3 people don't do it for the same city without some kind of coordination, and we just want to avoid problems like that. But now that I've got that out of the way, if you guys live anywhere near here and you'd be willing to help us out, we really need all the help we can get. It's going to be a Herculean effort trying to find places in all of these cities, and we're especially finding that to have a local resident really helps in terms of making contact, asking the initial questions, making an introduction for me. So anybody who's willing to do that would really be helpful. The science page right now is completely blank. As you know, the Mobile Observatory project is going to be monitoring things about space weather, also the environment. The stuff that we do, the pictures, the studies, the readings we take, they're all going to go here, and they're going to be nice and set up for us like this. There's going to be a blog page dedicated solely to the Mobile Observatory project. My wife actually put up the first post yesterday. Oh, I see we have comments already. She took a couple of pictures of me. This is pre-RV painting. It's in the shop at Farber Specialty Vehicles. Really good place to go. When it's done, it should look something like this. The images that they've sent look absolutely terrific. No photos just yet. We're going to be taking those along the way. Can't wait to get photos of my wife, I, maybe even the puppies, and you and your families as well. I think this would be a nice little thing just to show who the observers are as a community. And I don't know, I just have happy thoughts when I think about what this photos page could be. An about page, this is a lot about myself, my wife, and what we are doing here. And that's pretty much it. This is going to be updated continuously. We'd love your help in confirming these dates, turning them from gray to green. You could send your suggestions through there, send my wife an email, or send me an email at ben@observatoryproject.com. So that's the new website for the Observatory Project, and I think that my wife did a pretty good job, and I know I couldn't do this. She figured out Weebly in just about a day and a half, so that's pretty cool. And speaking of Weebly, I'll go back to suspiciousobservers.org. It's been about 6 months since I went over all the stuff that's on the website, so might as well start with that. And we'll start here on the right, the Mobile Observatory. That takes you back to the observatoryproject.com. The old Mobile Observatory page can still be found by clicking this part of the banner just for another few hours in case there's anything off there you wanted to pull and save. I really can't imagine that there is, but just in case, I left it up there, and we'll do so for a few more hours. Stuff that's on the website, and like I said, speaking of Weebly, the official blog for the Suspicious Observers is separate from the blog from the Mobile Observatory Project, and this is managed by David Hyde. He's Mr. Loafer on YouTube. He's got a lot of terrific articles on here. He really does his homework. He puts in a lot of stuff to help you understand. There's video explanations and everything else. He's got all of us up here at the top. I really do like these banners. But anyway, if I can not get too distracted, look at these categories over here on the right. Pretty much anything that you're interested in, he's covered, and we have information on. I do try to keep the YouTube videos fairly focused, but such is not the case off of YouTube. We try to get into just about everything. And as much as I recommend my wife's blog for the Mobile Observatory Project, I definitely recommend the actual Suspicious Observers blog. It's suspiciousobserverscollective.org, and of course you can get there just by clicking blog on our page. The storms page is actually a shared Google document where we're tracking the Uyen system based on his speech at the conference and our Earth spots hypothesis and some of the new information that's coming out about the Earth and Sun. Real quick thing I want to mention about this, by the way, you can type in this, if you go to this page, you can find his actual video right there that this is based off of. All credit for any success of this must go to Dr. Uyen for putting forth these theories, which, by the way, if you come and take a look at the page, since we started, it has been phenomenally accurate. But any failures that occur now and into the future need to be put on me in terms of my interpretation of Dr. Uyen's work. So just real quick note on how that needs to work. We're going to come back over here to suspiciousobservers.org. The Quakes page is for members only right now. Once it is complete, it will be made completely public. This is based on some real deep studying we're doing, and we're getting third parties involved as well to try to confirm some of this. Essentially, we are trying to statistically, officially, and undeniably correlate certain things on Earth, namely earthquakes, to certain certain aspects of the sun that really have not yet been considered in terms of earthquakes. We've heard about flares. I talk about coronal holes all the time, but this will be something new. All the music I use every day can be had right here. If you're brand new, the climate page and the background videos will literally get you caught up with the rest of these 180,000 plus individuals very, very quickly. You can probably get caught up in just a couple of hours, literally to the T. And then we have our premium section, and there's a lot that's been happening here. As you know, my wife and I love this pursuit of truth. We have both quit the corporate suit and tie life, and this is now how we pay our bills. Some of the things that are in the premium, we have an evening news that we do just about every day. Not quite every day. I try to promise about 300 of them a year. We're going to exceed that here in our first year. Starwater, there are 4 chapters to the Starwater series thus far. We're going to have to add more as everything comes together, but this is probably our top series, and I'll go ahead and put humility aside for a second and say I'm very, very proud of what we've done here with the Starwater series. 2 brand new series, our Electric Earth and Sun and our Geoengineering page. We've talked a lot recently in videos like I Wish I Knew This When I Woke Up and a few others about how I can't let this insanity with which many people on the internet try to take on geoengineering really affect my willingness to go after it. I have talked about it in a lot of videos, but honestly, when you take a good, honest look at a lot of what's going on the internet in terms of opposing geoengineering, a lot of it makes us sound a little bit sensationalized and like we don't quite have our stuff together, don't quite have all our facts. But things are actually changing on that front quite a bit, and this page is very new. There's only 2 videos on there so far, but one of them is a rubric for when you should and shouldn't call out a chemtrail, not saying necessarily that one is or isn't, but just looking at the arguments against us, avoiding their #1 argument against us. I have a rubric for how to do that and call a chemtrail and be able to avoid one of the largest things they could say against us. Electric Earth and Sun, this is a brand new series. Chapter 1 is up for that. There are a couple of videos on that page, including some background information. This holds our Earth spots hypothesis. This is going to be vital as we continue to learn more about how the sun affects the Earth, even not just long term and with things like the electrical grid from solar flares and CMEs, but even down to the fact that solar wind affects lightning and cosmic rays affect thunderstorms, and how some solar energetic particle events can be correlated with sudden stratospheric warmings. This is going to be, this is going to be a page that will be updated probably for years. Agenda 21 Counterstrike is the last of the series that are currently on the website. This also has 4 chapters to it right now, and it will obviously be updated as we go. No one single web page or even one website could tell you everything you need to know about Agenda 21, and I give a lot of links out for good sources for further information, but for the quick little high level, what's the point, what do you need to know type of style with which I handle the news, that's a little bit more in depth, but that's basically how I tried to go after Agenda 21. Excuse me, I accidentally clicked the button instead of doing what I was supposed to do there. Okay, so we also have fly on the wall. Now, what is fly on the wall? I mention this a lot. Fly on the wall is an audio recording. Every Saturday, I get on Skype with Billy Yelverton, Mr. Too Tough, and a couple other individuals. Xavier Thunders, our animator, usually joins us, and that's another thing. These premium videos, they all have some terrific animations of things that people talk about and comment sometimes, but certainly the mainstream never does, and that have never been visualized before. Star, Water, Electric Earth, and Sun. These have a lot of animations of things that just you can't see anywhere else. But anyway, back to Fly on the Wall. Xavier, our animator, shows up. Telluric Current, aka Star Observer, comes on every once in a while. We've had Dr. Kong Pop Uyen himself on twice. And Suspect Sky on YouTube, Adrian, also comes on as well. Essentially, I just audio record these Skype conversations. I don't add video to it. It's basically just the raw audio. And I call it Fly on the Wall because by recording these discussions and just uploading them, and the way it happens, I'll just come to this last one. It's uploaded as a page like this, and you just click play, and it just basically stays black the whole time. It's easier just actually to upload videos like this than it is to upload the audio. But the point is that you are like a fly on the wall for these conversations, and a lot of people really enjoy them. Last but not least, we have the private forums. Now, some folks really don't like how we have these set up, but frankly, I don't know how we could do it much more simply. The way this works is the same way that the newest comments section works on YouTube, with one exception, and I'll just click on this one. What's this one called? Elites v. Commoners and the Collapse of Civilization. Oh, this is probably an interesting forum. I'll get to that one in a minute. But anyway, what happens is, and this one only has two, so it's not really a good example. Let me find, okay, the Electric Sun one started by Star Observer. The way this works is the initial post that got the forums, that got the topic started, goes up at the top. See, this was back on March 12th when he started this particular forum. Then after that, it's newest first going back in time, with the comments indented like this. You can see we go back and back. Apparently this is just Star Observer. Interestingly enough. So that's how this works. It's just chronological order, back to front to back, with the initial conversation starter up here at the top. Comments are indented below. Very, very simple, and that's pretty much the website. The website and the new one for the Mobile Observatory project. Other than that, we do have an update that we want to bring you. It involves the climate and also the coming grand minimum, something that we hadn't yet considered about it, but something that we'll have to keep in mind going forward. This is a paper from 2012 that I actually just saw when someone sent to me in the last day or so. And I'm not quite sure how I missed this one, but nevertheless, we've got it now, and something interesting to look at going forward. And by the way, this William Livingston is the same Livingston of Penn and Livingston from the National Solar Observatory. Their papers were some of the first to describe how the sun may be going to sleep for a while. But we're finding that it might not be just a complete disappearance of sunspots. It may just be a change in sunspots from large spots to smaller and smaller spots. They're noticing that while the field strengths of the sunspots were decreasing over time, and is continuing now, actually, the number of sunspots hadn't changed very much. What we had noticed was a number of large spots gradually decreasing and the number of small sunspots steadily increasing. Seems to indicate that perhaps when the Monders were looking at the sun and writing down no sunspots all those hundreds of years ago, they just couldn't see well enough to notice the smaller spots. It also brings into question how accurate some of those sunspot numbers were back before the Maunder minimum. We do know that about that time or just afterwards is when telescopes got good enough that we can really sort of discount any possibility that there was huge error. But this is very important because if we didn't know this, we'd be sitting and waiting for there to be 0 sunspots. And it turns out that that just may never be the case. We may have small sunspots even through this coming grand minimum. They just will probably all be very, very small. Anyway, pretty good paper. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend it. Once again, our blog for the Suspicious Observers is at suspiciousobserverscollective.org. The Mobile Observatory Project page is now up at observatoryproject.com. We would love your help. We need your help confirming some of these dates, turning them from gray to green. And last but not least, we gave you the quick little update on suspiciousobservers.org. We're going to be adding more to it all the time. And got a couple other things that I won't fully mention here, but we got them planned for the near future. And hopefully this Quakes page will be made public before the Mobile Observatory project kicks off later in June. So that's pretty much where we stand right now. Turn my screen share off. And it is what it is. Thanks for your time this morning, everyone. Be safe.